Hey guys, I'm actually just making a quick video in response to Ann Spade's latest video where she actually played and sang Complicated by Avril Lavigne. Let me tell you, she did a great job. I do not have the guts to try to sing and play at the same time. I'm thoroughly impressed with her. But I did mention that actually is an easier way to make one of the chords she's making, so I wanted to show you guys and her. And I told her I'd post a video response, and she didn't answer me one way or the other, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And if you don't want to use this, you don't have to. No biggie whatsoever. Anyway, to start this off real quickly here, this thing, by the way, is actually something called the fat finger. All it does is actually move the resonance point, because I was having some sympathetic resonance problems, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, so let's start with just a regular run-of-the-mill A chord. You can play it in a couple different places, but let's start with the one that's actually closest to the nut, and we'll go from there. I actually can't do it straight down like most people do it, such as this, because my fingers are just a little bit too big. So I always had to play it like that, but it's still the same chord, just fingered a little bit differently. And I apologize if you can't hear it, but my amp's on the other side of the room, and it's a half stack, and I don't feel like moving it because it's too freaking heavy. So anyway, we'll start with this though anyway. And this is an actual just A chord. When I actually started learning how to play the other chords I'm going to explain, I started playing A bit differently, using only one finger, and actually made it a good bit easier. I was pretty happy with that actually. So let me show you how to do that. Rather than actually playing it with three fingers and placing them such as, use just one finger and lay it across the strings, and you still get the same effect. Same chord, same effect. Right there. And like I said, all you do is just see how far that knuckle can bend back. That's kind of important. You gotta see how far that can bend back though. And that one luckily can bend back quite a bit. The next chord I wanted to show you though is that B flat and how to make that. Here is how to do it. And just to let you know though, if you look at it, see those fingers, how much they both bend? That's great. See those? See how much they both bend? That last knuckle? That's awesome. My pinkies? Awesome. My middle fingers? If you see, one of them can bend really well, the other one can barely bend at all, and unfortunately, that's the finger I need to play these certain chords, so rather than being able to play all 5 strings, I have to only play 4. But if you can bend that particular knuckle far enough back, you can actually play all 5 strings, but I'm going to show you this one. It requires only 2 fingers, and the way I actually heard it described, or what I heard it called, I believe when I first actually started playing it or was first shown it, is something called a laydown chord. And like in the B flat that you were playing yesterday, you were playing as an A with that particular string, with your this finger on the high E at that particular point. The way I play a B flat is I actually put my finger on the B flat and then stretch it across and lay these, if you look at it, across the 3 strings. And that one, the high E is muted, and I usually keep this up here too to keep the low E muted, so neither of them actually play while I'm playing this chord. So, and the good thing about this though too is you actually can catch the B flat, the actual root of the chord, on the first string as you do in all the other chords that you play, or most of them, so that it actually will, I guess, sound a little more consistent. But anyway, this is how it's played. Like I said, unfortunately I cannot hit that string, so my knuckle won't bend enough, and I keep that one muted the whole time. But these, they play fine. That is how I play B flat. And again, all that requires is that you put your finger, actually index finger, on the B flat on the A string, which is just on the 1st fret, and then as you would on the A chord on the 3rd fret, you just lay it across those 3 strings. But this time, since you have this finger tied up, use your ring finger, and I usually again just lay this up here, put my pinky down under it, and again there's the B flat. 4 strings only, but you get the point. It actually plays the B flat, and that's a good bit easier than trying to make an A up here and then trying to stretch that finger back to make the actual chord, the B flat chord. So I hope that was helpful. Also, I did mention that the G minor is actually in that song, even though I'm not sure. Some of you actually saw it in there. Now, when she was actually power chording that G, the cool thing about it is when you power chord, all you're playing is the 1-5-1. In other words, you're playing the octave and then just adding the fifth in the middle of it. Now, the cool thing about it is the first and the fifth have no bearing on whether it's a major or minor chord. Only the third does in the triad. For example, let's take C. The C chord is actually played as C, E, and G. To actually play a C minor, it would be C, E flat, and G. You flat the third to make a minor. But if you notice, the first and fifth stay the same. So when she's power chording that G, such as this, it sounds really uppy in that particular part because actually it's the same way as you would play a G major, but only the top 3 strings. And a G minor, all you do is pick up this finger. That's a G minor. See how different that sounds? How darker the mood, much darker the mood is, but in complicated it sounds so uppy because again they're just power chording it and every single one of those notes are actually still in the key, which works really cool. So anyway, I hope that actually helps you out or maybe answers some of your questions. If you have any more, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to show you what I can. And I hope you can hear everything that was going on in my amp because again it's across the room and facing actually that way behind me, so I'm not sure if this camera picked up anything on it or not. But I hope that helps, and I will talk to you guys later. You have a good one. Bye.